Drag Race.
Hey, kitty girls. Surprise! We're back!
We're back.
It's Wednesday, July 15th, 2020, and welcome to Comes Out Loud Drag Race T-Time All-Stars 5, episode number 6. The Charles Family Backyard Ball. If that's not a mouthful. So, we're getting caught up. We had a little delay. So, for all of you that have been waiting patiently, you're getting like back-to-back episodes out of us. Mm-hmm. So we recorded last night for episode 5, and then that one just got put out today, and then we're recording tonight. We're putting out tomorrow, so everybody well caught up.
So you should be hopefully caught up in time for episode 7.
That's right. All right, so for those of you that don't know, 6 episodes into All-Star Season 5, who we are, I'm Gary, and with me is my ever-fabulous co-star.
Hello, it's Damon. Are you ready for fall? Because I think I'm kind of ready for fall.
You are. You are looking very autumnal.
Yes. It was inspired literally by like, oh shit, I've got 10 minutes. Let me look at this palette and see what I can come up with. Oh, there's a red and an orange and a gold. Boom. Fall.
Foliage. Autumnal. Yes. All right. So are you ready to get started?
Yes.
All right.
Gentlemen, start your engines, and may the best woman win.
That's right. So the first topic area, section that we're going to discuss, put the pedal to the metal. No mini, right? We just once again jumped straight into a maxi only challenge. Like only one thing. But it's not only one thing.
No.
So it's Country Cousin Realness Challenge. The dealio is that you have to strut the runway in a country cousin look that you brought, and you have to come up with a voiceover, like packet, like to be said.
Yeah. Like what I usually get, like just so everyone, like when I hear the like voiceovers and I'm hearing like the same like starts of phrases, I feel like they were given like a sheeter. Like,
right,
here you go, fill the rest of it out.
Yes.
Then you get to record it.
Yeah, not quite Mad Libs, but you get like it's kind of like an early essay.
Yeah.
Style.
Yeah.
Here's your first
like
half a sentence for each paragraph.
You know, like when you used to like those little essays in like 3rd, 4th grade, like the Earth is
My dad is the greatest because.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely that kind of stuff. So the gig is, and I don't know if they knew this. So Rue tells them that his sisters are going to be there to help, like, with this, backyard barbecue shindig, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then camera cuts to stage, and the 2 black floor areas that used to actually be not staged many, many seasons ago are filled with Paul Charles' actual family members, aunties, nieces, nephews, cousins, like sitting at picnic tables, all looking prim and proper, like picnic-y, picnic-ish, barbecue-ish, whatever. But they're all sitting there, and they're like a live audience to watch these queens strut and walk out. And my first thought was, "Oh, girl, did they sign up for this? Because like this could be dicey." Because I'm like, oh, okay. The last thing my ass would want to do is walk between 2 groups of black folk and be judged by them. Like, that is not on my list in any way, shape, or form, because I don't need no one like talking shit about me. Like, telling me that
So
I am no longer invited to the family picnic. Like,
so let's be honest for a second, because like that like the idea of like just like you all know, you can see this melanin, like it the worst cuts, the deepest cuts could come from your family,
mm-hmm.
and and it could eat, and especially like when they are around each other and they know like how to like just get at like that thing that you know you're already insecure about.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine that, and then putting it on a stage. Like, okay, so okay, let's do it. Like, has anyone seen the Apollo? Like Showtime at the Apollo. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
You know what? And you hit the nail on the head, David, because that was
Like,
my thought when the camera like pans out or whatever, and I was like, oh no. I was like okay, like if you think the judges are like cruel, I'm like, oh, this could go very bad. This like this
I have a feeling, because based on the episode, that
right.
they were there mostly for um hate to say it, it sounds kind of bad, but they're mostly there for props.
Girl, you took the words right out of my mouth, you know?
Thank you.
Cuz that's what it was. I was actually very disappointed that the Charles family didn't do Jack Diddley. Like there were
Like
some
once,
like camera close-ups of some family like
yeah.
facial reactions, but that was it. And I was like, really?
Mhm.
Like I would have found it far more entertaining if there was actually food up there and drank, and then like if the family wasn't into you, they would all just turn their back on you and go back to eating like wings and ribs and like and like because that's what I would have expected. It's like if they don't really have speaking roles, like I would have
Like, oh,
uh-huh.
mhm,
She's here. That's nice.
mhm, mhm.
But yeah.
This Coke Zero is amazing. Have you tried it yet? Like, have you tried this?
Girl. Yeah, that did not
I
happen.
mean, that didn't happen, but holy shit, that would have been a trip. Mm.
Oh yeah. And I'm sure Rue would have liked to do that, but I have a feeling the producers would have been like, oh, it's not necessarily like the best thing. Like the network might have an issue with.
No, no, no,
Yeah.
no. We're good.
So speaking of issues, Damon, what were your thoughts on the challenge?
So, tea time with Day Day, like right here. There ain't no cousins. Like, let's just put it out there. Like, no one really kind of played the role well enough for me. Like, here you go, you have all this family like sitting, and I hate to say this, having the props of the family there really made these people make the queen stand out like sore thumbs, not in a good way. Like, you
Right.
look at this like plethora of people, and yes, it wasn't, I'm sure it wasn't just like actual Rue family members. It was like, guests and what have you. But like maybe it was all family and they're just all like, married cousins and all that stuff. But whatever, it doesn't matter to me. But like they're all like, simply dressed like it's an actual backyard. Like, no one got all fancily dressed and whatever. Even Rue's sisters are pretty, hate to say it, like kind of plainly dressed. Like,
But nicely so. Like that was
yeah,
the
yeah,
part that
like,
kind of bothered me because you
hmm
could tell they got dressed a little for camera,
yeah,
and I was like, I'm sorry if I go to the Charles family backyard, barbecue, picnic, whatever.
hmm
I expect to see people in jeans, in shorts, in
hmm
crop tops, cut off, like I
yeah,
just, and I'm not trying to sound ignorant. I'm just saying, like, I expect people to be comfortable. Like they're just gonna
yeah,
wear what they're gonna wear, not
yeah.
because there's a
Yeah.
camera on them. That was the first thing I clocked as I was like, oh, we all look pretty.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So and then like
and then the queens come out and they don't blend in.
no, they don't play that at all. And it's just like, are they? I mean, I guess they're technically crashing the party, like they weren't really invited, and you can kind of go that route. But then, like, they're not really like Alexis was Rue's maid, like part of her story. Like,
I know.
see, and who was it? I think it was either Juju or Shay mentioned something kind of like not really family, but like kind of family. But like anyway, it didn't land and it didn't work well for me. Alexis being the maid just really just like threw me off a little bit because I was just like, oh, like you gonna go there? Okay, all right. That ugly ass green fucking whatever you were wearing that was a size or two too small. Said it as I tried to get the fucking lid off.
Dang. She ain't playing nice at all. Yeah.
It just was. It was. It just didn't. Nothing worked. Like, okay, let me put it like this way. I think one worked, and the rest were just kind of. Eh. And I'm gonna let you go from there.
Well, I don't
'Cause
know if we're
think-
gonna
I think-
agree. I don't.
Yeah. That's what I want to see. Do we
Okay.
agree or not?
So David knows what I wrote down. What I wrote down was one could stay, bounce the rest. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like not that there should be a bouncer at a family get together, but if you are crashing it, so to speak, like call the cops, tell them to take a walk. Like you got the wrong family. We don't know you. Like
Bye.
yeah, and you don't get to take a plate with you, girl. Like
No.
so, yeah, like it was awkward.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing more awkward than a white queen named Cracker that shows up at a Charles family get together where there's lots of melanin. I was like, okay, that's not awkward, not at all.
And it was fine. Like, I mean, hate to say it, Cracker's drag mama's Bob, so like, she's probably used to being around.
Right.
She's
Well,
okay.
that's not my point. I'm like, I was thinking more about the name and the fact that she's
that
almost
too.
Casper
Well,
White. Like,
I mean,
so there's that. Yeah. So I will say I will start with this, and then we'll see if we agree. I think Shay's the only one that could have stayed,
mm,
and then the rest they'll gotta go. I absolutely no boot. Like pass, you do not get to come in to Darlene, to like the Indianapolis 500 crazy whatever like personification
Yeah.
that Blair was trying to do.
yeah.
Cracker kind of looked like a swamp witch, like not really doing it for me. Now Jujubee, I will say this:
Yeah.
she could get an extended pass, like. She could stay for a little while because she's entertaining.
Yeah.
Like she was fun.
Yes. That
Like-
was my one.
Like if she could stay if everyone was allowed to wear the hat. Do you know what I mean? Like if the hat could be passed around and all the family members could get their picture taken with the hat, even the little ones running around like in a diaper could get a picture with the hat. You know what I mean? Like I can see the family being like, "All right, we keep you, girl. Like
Yeah.
you're fun."
You're good. You're all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Juju was mine that I would have said go. Like, and the only reason I'm not the biggest fan of Shay's was just the look was like just too much. Like it was too much. I'll put it like that. It was a little weird. This oversized T-shirt with the rest in peace Grandrea, which she is a callback to her character in season 9. I kudos for her for the throwback, but I was sitting there looking at it, and I just looked at a little bit of it again, and I was just like, it just felt off, a
I
little off.
I admit that it wasn't a perfect fit, but my concept was like you're not actually invited, so you're kind of off. Like you're
True.
not automatically going to be an easy blend in. So also so the T from Race Chasers episode with Willem and
Mm-hmm.
Alaska is and this can be confirmed online. Shay posted pictures of her like RIP Grand Drea outfit online because in the Instagram pictures there's a Tweety bird on the back of the shirt apparently that was airbrushed, but because it's a copyright like trademark issue, she was told she couldn't wear it. So the compromise is that she walks backwards when she leaves. She never turns around and shows the back of the shirt because they weren't going to pay for the rights for the imaging or to blur it out. And I was like that was Shay's like smart thinking. It'd be like, okay, no problem. I'll just walk backwards. Like you don't have to see the back of the outfit or whatever. And I was like, so now I want to go back because I just listened to the episode before we started recording. Now I want to go back and like watch her part of the runway again to see how she handled herself. Like,
oh gosh,
how she presented to front and then like, walked like backwards, so to speak, like without ever showing the back of the shirt, I guess. So I was like, yo, really? How very interesting. But the concept of wearing like the airbrush shirt thing didn't surprise me. Like Willem asked Alaska because Willem's like, we're both from Pennsylvania. This is a thing. And Alaska's like, well, I've never had it in my family, but I am aware of it. And I agree. Like, I haven't had it in my family, but I know that like, and you especially normally get those at like the county fair or the local festival. There's usually a vendor who's doing the airbrush artwork stuff. And,
sorry, there's literally I don't know how long this is going to be up because it's not through RuPaul officially, but it is her runway, and nope, she never turns around, or she turns around, but you never see it. Hold on, let me get this link to you, girl. Let me get this link.
Don't send it because it'll come through.
Oh, that's right.
Send it to my Telegram.
There we go. Telegram. Where's the Telegram? Anyway, sorry.
That's okay. So,
yeah,
like, I mean, I don't think I'm that far off with you in terms of, like, them really being cousins and being invited, being welcome. I don't understand the whole joke about potato salad with raisins.
Okay, so, you don't understand it because you're white.
That's fine, girl. We can talk about this. Like no shade in that case. I mean, I'm looking really kind of pinkish at the moment, but
So, the joke is, oh gosh, what was his name? I forget his name, but I think he's been on Ellen and whatever. But like, there's the African American boy that's like showing the like videos of people cooking things, and it's usually like white people, and they're making like traditional things, and then they're trying to like zhuzh it up, and like one of the big things like with that people have had a problem with is like people putting things in like potato salad, because potato salad is potatoes and
right,
like sometimes egg and like a base of either mustard or mayo or something like that, and then that's it. Like, but like I think one of them is they threw like raisins in it.
Okay, so I think I know what you're talking about in terms of the guy, because he like there is some shenanigery like craziness that has been posted in which he was like, what in the
yeah.
Oh yeah, yep.
You're looking at it.
Well, I'm looking at the Instagram of Shay with the here. I'll send it to you in the Telegram. And what's even funnier is look at Shay's hands. Like when you see the picture from the back, I'm like, girl, She definitely dishing up all the attitude in this moment. But
Come on.
she's also wearing like tights or something that I don't think she
Yeah.
wore on the runway.
Yeah. Well, the boots are the same, but the top has a different. It's not on. It's a different top than the video that she wore. She didn't wear anything over her arms, whereas in the Instagram photo, there's like a fishnet or mesh kind of like
Right.
topish thing.
And the hair's different.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, in the Instagram, the hair's better, but
I mean, is she
There's that.
wearing hair in the video in the one?
yeah, she is. But it's not this orange bouffant with like the pins in it and stuff. She's got curlers on the
Yeah.
runway, and it's a different kind of orange hair.
Yeah,
It's
she's
actually
got like it's like a yeah, she's got like a wrap
yeah.
over her hair. Like, yep. With her Cheetos. Yeah. So we never, as far as I can say with this one, we did not see her. Like there was the whole, literally like, she walks to the one side of the stage. She walks to the one side of the stage. She turns, and when you normally would have seen her turn backward, like back to,
Right.
like to basically walk back down to the front. You don't see that, but then she turns.
Yeah, in the video
Smart.
it goes pretty quick, but
This
she
one
like
goes pretty fast.
yeah, she kind of like quarters it. Like when
Yeah.
she gets to the end of it, she kind of da 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 and da 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 da. And then, but the script, the voiceover works really well because you don't pay attention to the fact that she's actually going backwards during the voiceover because of her upper like body movement and like her face and stuff. Yeah, it worked out well.
Yeah. So funny.
Yeah.
So funny.
So that's what I kind of felt about the challenge.
I love this shirt. Sorry, just saw the back.
See?
So that is quintessential like 90s shit. So like remember I'm sure you remember like back in like the 90s like the whole thing was to make like cartoon characters urban.
Right.
So like you had like Bugs Bunny with like the saggy pants or the jersey and shit, and this is kind of one of those things. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Right, but you can also clearly see that it's Tweety Bird. Like there's no getting
Yeah.
around it.
Yeah.
So that's why they had to like have her walk a certain way and then edit the video to not ever show the image on the back so they didn't get hit with a a thing.
Copyright thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, you ready to move on?
Yes.
All right.
Cover girl, put the bass in your walk. Cover girl.
Yes, honey. Time to stomp the runway. So, challenge is, well, let me say this. The runway category is backyard eleganza. But part 2 of the challenge is you have to make the outfit from things that you would find at a family backyard get-together. So all the materials except for your underwear, shoes, hair, and padding, like, is supposed to be like materials that are provided. So they apparently go, if I recall correctly, don't they like come back into the workroom with like wheelbarrows of stuff and so like
So literally like they announce it
yeah.
that it's the thing, and then a beat or so later you get them wheeling back in, like they've gone through the setup
Yeah.
and pulled the stuff that they want. Like I remember specifically like UGB had like big things of garden hoses.
I know. That's the thing that stood out to me. And I was like, oh, she gonna turn that into a belt or something. Like,
Well,
but she didn't. Um, yeah.
well.
So
We'll get to that.
yeah.
I mean, you definitely, but
So yeah, the idea is that they have to take
yeah.
the materials and they have to craft something up. What I like
Mhm.
is how pretty much all the girls are like living for this challenge. And Alexis does this really great thing where she talks about like this is what drag is. Like you ain't got hardly no pennies to rub together and you got to make a damn outfit because you got another damn show. Like that's the gig.
Mhm.
Sis is like every time you have a show, you have a performance, you have to have another look. And Lord forbid you wear the same thing twice.
Oh,
So
heaven.
at least in front of the same audience. So you
Yeah.
are constantly trying to like, change it up or make something or
Mhm.
so. I'm curious to know, Damon, what did you think of their runway presentations?
So I put down creative choices. I will admit that they gave them a really good cheat because literally they gave them swaths of fabric because blankets and picnic tables and or picnic, and picnic blankets and um, tablecloths and what have you. They literally gave them like pieces of fabric. Like I'm just gonna like
Right.
maybe a little bit more difficult to work with, but pieces of fabric. Like let's just be honest with it.
Things
Yeah.
that are like bolts of fabric, but not
Mm.
exactly, because as we
Yeah.
see, Cracker struggles with the sewing machine
Mm-hmm.
with some of her material.
Yeah. Because it's
So,
not. It's not. Again, it's not the same as like this fabric that's sitting here on the wall. That you could make something out of. Um, but there were some good looks. I was particularly fond of Shay's and Alexis's. Alexi? No.
what Alexis
uh,
made.
yeah. I, although, because Jim and I actually talked about it in the episode, the thing I liked the most was her creative use of like the solo cups and the napkins and everything else to kind of make this very structured, like shoulder piece and on the gown and everything else. Unfortunately, the skirt, the mermaid, the trumpet part was too high up.
Mhm.
And I get what she was going for with regards to having the um, kiddie pool under the skirt. Spoiler alert! By the way, she uses the fucking kiddie pool as like the kind of the hoop to kind of give it that like body
Mhm.
volume. But it was the skirt started too high,
Mhm.
and then it didn't lay well because it's a fucking kiddie pool. So the fabric kind of fell over it in spots and then was too long in other spots. So it was just this weird kind of hodgepodgey kind of. Ugh.
Right.
It was hanging over too far. Honestly, if it, like I was telling Jim and Jim kind of agreed, like if it had gone down like maybe 1 or 2 inches more and literally dragged the floor to where it might have been a little bit harder to walk,
Right.
but it would have done the job.
Yeah.
Having said that, I did enjoy her look. I thought it was one of the best and most creative uses of the items that they were given. My least favorite was Blair's.
I fully agree.
Yeah.
I While you may have made an outfit out of the materials you were given,
Mm-hmm.
you did not complete like the directions.
Yeah. It just seemed very it was just too off. Like it was very, very kind of high fashion, and that wasn't really what I think we needed here.
Yeah.
You know, Um, yeah, yeah, you know, and to kind of like counterpose it with like Shay's, for example, while Shay's was probably not really like backyard eleganza kind of thing, it definitely kind of fit in a different theme, and it was a little bit more structured.
Mm-hmm.
That helped make it a little bit more elevated and more appropriate.
Well, it was more acceptable.
Yeah.
Like, my issue was with Blair's, I would look at it and be like, girl, what backyard are you going to wear that in? Where
Now,
Shay's, I was like, okay, like,
yeah.
apparently you getting married.
Mm-hmm. Like if I will put it like this: if Blair had done, and I mean she could have potentially been clocked for it, but if she had done a bathing suit with like a caftany-ish kind of cover up, done some of the structure that
Mm.
she had with it, like done something fun and elegant-ish with it, like wet that fucking hair, like gotten it like slicked back, like fully slicked back, like she had just got out of the pool, thrown on a pair of shades,
Right. Well, and
had
I could see her taking the material that she had for the leg wrap,
mm-hmm,
whatever the drape, I don't know what the hell that was.
the drape, yeah,
If she had taken that and made a poncho,
mm-hmm,
like with that fabric along the edging, like to
mm-hmm,
give it some nice
the
like
the lawn
curve,
chair,
yeah, like
yeah,
some nice curve structure. I made a poncho out of it, and then the poncho is removable, or the poncho can go around the waist. Like, so
mm-hmm,
it's multi-purpose. So it's like it's up here and you're walking down, and then you can turn it into a nice like big flouncy kind of skirt deal.
mm-hmm,
But then you can see that the swimsuit's underneath. So like she could have had a 3-in-1 look in a way,
potentially, yeah,
if you worked it right. But
mm-hmm,
yeah, she just it actually kind of looked like just fabric draped, fabric
yeah,
here,
cut
fabric
together. And
there,
she said, like, Michelle mentioned at one point that it looked like she grabbed like the side of it because it may have been coming undone.
which it was.
And yeah, it
Like
was.
I clocked it. She was walking back away, and I saw the hand go because things started to shift, and I was like, "Ooh, girl."
Mm-hmm.
She obviously got that pin when she got backstage and was like, "Shit."
Yep.
But
Yeah. So, yeah, some like I said, some creative choices. Gary.
I can't believe that I have to say this. All Stars season 5, bitches. And yet again, we still have this fucked up narrative about who's not prepared. And Willem even talked about this. He's like, no excuse. No excuse. You know the name of the game. You should have some stuff. Can you fucking sew? Like, should not be a question that's asked. What I find interesting is that Juju tries to get ahead of this drama issue narrative by being the one that asks the rest of the cast, the rest of the contestants, how are you with sewing? And of course, they start with Shay, whether or not she answered first. Shay's like, oh, well, I have a degree, in costume design for theater, so I know my way around, a sewing machine. And it's like, no shit, bitch, we see you. Like you have been prepared all season long. You have been prepared for entrances day in and day out with different looks. You were prepared for all the confessionals. You're prepared for every runway. You're prepared for every like day that you're in the workroom. Like you have been clocked, like stepping up the game, that every time you're in front of the camera is an opportunity to like look divine. So,
Fact.
not surprised.
Period.
Right? And then Alexis, she knows how to sew, she knows how to make things. She even, I think, says in the episode about how like she can't really go to designers to get something because of her proportions and her size. She basically has to have everything custom made.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, that makes sense. I mean, especially when you're a bigger girl, it's a little more difficult because you're not a standard size. Like even if you're a 10, 12, 14, 16, like once you start getting beyond that, like, it's going to be that much harder to make things fit. Because if I think about the girls, it's like Darian Lake, Eureka O'Hara, you know, Mimi I'm First, like Silky Nutmeg Ganache. Like, whether you're a big girl or a thick girl, like, curves throw everything off, like, in terms of like fit. So yeah, you have to probably have things custom made. So Alexis knows how to sew, and Blair has some knowledge, although based on how her outfit was put together, that's questionable. Cracker obviously knows how to. And why? Because Cracker pulls out basically the exact same pattern of the outfit that she used in her season for the first episode that she actually won.
What?
If you pay attention, I know that outfit is very reminiscent, like, of the very first one that she ever made. And I am not hating on her, because, girl, she learned that page from Bianca Del Rio. When you make one thing and you make it good, you make everything in it. You just make it over and over and over and over again.
Yep.
Different colors, different materials. Nobody gives a shit. Yeah. Halter, like, you know, da-da, with a thing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Yeah. So we know that she knows how to, but she admits that, like, she's really struggling with the sewing machine. And this is where Shay, you know, is like, actually, there's two things you should do. Da-da. And it's very helpful that way. And I knew that was coming, because Shay is not competing for Miss Congeniality. Shay is just like, girl, here. Like, I don't want to see you struggle. I ain't got time for this. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Like, if I have the knowledge, I will help you out. And she does. And she even, you know, helps Jujubee out, because Jujubee's like, I'm trying to think of how I'm supposed to do this. And Jujubee's like, okay, pay attention. Or Shay's like, pay attention to the way the fabric looks, and pay attention to the weave. Like, if it goes this way, like, this is the front. And Juju's like, how do you know it? She's like, well, look closer. And then you look at the back. I know that that's a thing with fabric, but my God, I don't know if I would have thought of it in the moment. You know. But fabric, most fabrics have a front and a back to them, and especially when it's a pattern that runs straight through the whole fabric print, it's difficult to tell the difference. But usually, there's like a cleaner, crisper side, especially on a pattern, versus the back. Like, one's kind of glossy, shiny, one's kind of matte. Like, you really have to kind of pay attention. But the weave can help with that. So yeah, and that's when, you know, Juju's like, well, I'm so
sewing.
I'm like,
I'll get to that later.
I know you will. So I was just really irritated by the whole, like, here we go again. Somebody doesn't know how to fucking sew. Yeah. And that brings us to our next segment. So I'm going to go about it this way. And it's not a shocking surprise. We've already had this announced before. Everybody's in the bottom but the winner. And the winner is Cracker. You seem surprised by this.
Because I am.
Okay.
Like, I thought it was gonna. I hate to say it. I thought it was gonna be Shay. Like, and the only reason I didn't see it being Shay was Shay's like eleganza was not like there. It was not 100% there.
Right.
Like, it looked nice in theory. It looked good overall. But like, when you put like hers next to Cracker's, I look at Cracker's as more complete and well made.
Right.
Yeah.
In comparison, I think Crackers was more complimentary, specific to the theme, well-rounded. Like, this whole controversy about shuttlecocks versus birdies, like, whatever the name is that someone calls it, it doesn't matter. It's a fascinator. It's, you know, it's the thing. It's the ruffle. It's on the shoes. Like, I mean, she really took the memo and put it all together. Shay's not exactly 100% on that. And no offense, I was really disappointed to see fucking Chaps. I was like, girl, what is with the chaps? Like, it's already been discussed. Chaps do not usually look good on drag queens. So stop doing them. But she rolled them out a gingham, and I was like, okay. And the gingham didn't match. And I get that, like, you can't quite help that, but it was bothering me that the gingham across the bodice and everything was the faded version, and the bolder blue of the two colors was the chaps. And I was like, I think I would have liked it the other way around. But
that was the other thing too. It just
yeah.
Like
So,
I wish it would have been executed a little bit better, but it was, you know, I thought it was well enough to kind of bump her, especially with her country cousin realness kind of moment. Yeah, but whatever. Anyway,
so we get to this moment.
The time has come to present this week's lip sync assassin.
I talked about this last night. Rue, I'm like, did they give everybody some stuff with their lunch from like the catering? Like, I don't know. Like, she's really been kikiing it up, like having and wait, it comes. I got that too, but like this just cracked me up where she was like ass, and I was like, what in the hell? Like, I think even Carson like kind of turned and looked at her like. So, yeah. So that's the first step. I got a couple of clips because I'm sorry, this was monumental for reveals.
The time has come to lip sync for your legacy. Good luck, and don't fuck it up.
Now, those two clips in and of themselves are like, girl, like, did you have caffeine? Like, what happened? Because you are lit AF on the microphone. But I think Rue knows who the assassin is. I think she's the only one. I don't think anybody else on the judges panel know. I don't think Michelle knows. I don't think Carson knows. I don't think Ross knows. Like, on any episode, I don't think anybody knows except for Rue.
I would assume so.
And the only reason I say that is because I think she's excited. So, that being said, here's the reveal of our assassin.
Bitch, it is Miss Thick and Juicy Roxy Andrews.
I was like, oh my God. And crazy enough, like crazy to me, she looked good. Like, just from the wall reveal, like, I am cracking up because they're talking about the amount of feathers and how much they cost and who can afford it. And they're busy talking shit about how it's Trinity. And I'm like, it ain't Trinity.
No.
And then we got a really cute moment between Roxy and Rue that I thought was the cherry on top before we get to the lip sync.
Roxy Andrews, is there anything you'd like to say to me?
I'm Roxy Andrews, and I'm here to make it clear. I know you love me, baby. That's why you brought me here again.
I was like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know how much more you could have rolled out the proverbial red carpet for this assassin. I was like, and to be honest, I'm like, oh, if there's an assassin of assassins, like, if you were to rank, I'm like, she's pretty far fucking up there. She's a performer. Do not expect it to go easy. So, it ends up being Cracker and Roxy, and it's One Last Time by Ariana Grande. Now, David, I'm really curious to know your thoughts because I saw what you wrote, and I'm like,
Give me 1 second because I gotta type in the tag. Boop, 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 boop. And so what I wrote is nothing makes sense. And I'm going to talk about okay, so one last time the song kind of dancey but not really dancey enough. Like I'm just going to put these like kind of like moments out there.
Okay.
It is a pop-ish song, but it's kind of a like love song.
Okay.
You know, it's one last time. Like it's actually of Miss Ariana Grande, who it's one of my favorites of hers. But the reason it's one of my favorites is because I first heard of it by a guy singing an acoustic version of it, and I really loved his singing it. But anyway, having said that, like it's not very dancey. Like it is a little bit, but not very.
Right.
Um, but here you have Roxy Andrews in what's obviously going to be a reveal because I doubt she's wearing that feather thing the whole time. Like just
Like,
like we know that.
right,
Like,
girl. It's like how many emus died like
yeah.
to make that outfit? Like,
yeah. And then you got Miss Cracker in this blue like leotard did like thing that just is it's not pretty. It doesn't look good. I'm not a fan of it. I know she has a like we find out in this episode that her sister I guess made her body. So you know she has these very big like wide hips and she's known for like the big booty kind of like over exaggerated hip thing going on. And it doesn't work with this like at all.
yeah.
So nothing like this is where my nothing like I'm starting to nothing makes sense. Cause then we get into this song. They look like they're gonna dance. And there's kind of dancing, but it's not there. And then Roxy, love you, and had this been like a full on like fun like dance number where reveals would have been kind of fun to have, where you would have had music to kind of give you something to go on, I would have been all for this. Like, don't get me wrong, I loved what you were wearing. It did not make sense for this song and this moment because you go from this ostrich plume thing, you take this off, you've got this kind of messy, like looking thing, you know, like shirt kind of thing. And then you take that off, and we get yo booty belt with the thick and juicy, which again, love it. Hilarious. Good for you. Great branding. We know that all about you. That's been your branding since season 5. Um, but like it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. It didn't it just didn't make sense. Like in the nature of what's going on, the song that is playing, the purpose of the assassination, it didn't work. Like, and I know because we watched Untucked, like you wanted to do like you were planning to do like clothing reveals as opposed to wig reveals because even though we're knowing it, I would have loved to have seen a wig reveal. I'm just saying like it would have made it would have added just a little element to this.
Right.
But like I said, nothing to me in this moment made sense. Good times, great, you know, kind of things, weird and odd song to be performing at this point in time.
Right.
So that's where my nothing makes sense comes from. Gary?
So I said upstaging again. It's a pet peeve of mine I have when it comes to lip syncs. I don't care if it's for your life or for your legacy. Queens who hog the stage to the front, to the side with the judges, get on my nerve.
Mm-hmm.
And Roxy did it.
Mm-hmm.
There was a moment where it was really awkward because Cracker's right behind her, and Roxy's tall, Cracker's shorter than her. And so Roxy's just blocking her out. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, girl? Like, it just really kind of bothered me. And it doesn't make me hate Roxy. I was just like, come on. Like, I
Yeah.
get that it's a competition, it's a lip sync, and you're trying to win, but I much more appreciate lip syncs where they share the stage and both performers are like into the energy of each other and they know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're kind of respecting each other's spaces and not like trying to be in front of the other. And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, yeah. And I honestly think Cracker was kind of trying to not get her ass handed to her. Like, I don't know if she thought she was really going to win because I got the impression that Cracker was like, fuck. You know? Like, I mean, because that would have been my reaction. I mean, hell, I
I mean-
probably would have walked right off the stage and been like, girl, scoot over. Let me pop a squat. Like, just let her do her thing. You know? Hell, let me go right backstage. I'll get her some tip money. You know, like, I mean, just... I was like, okay, well, that sucks. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there are some people that's, you know, Roxy's one of those that I'm just like, yeah, like there are some queens that you probably do not want to go up against, and she's one of them.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's that.
She just knows what she's doing. She knows how to perform a song, and even like I said, even though this like I said, this was a little weird, and I just think that what she did didn't really work with the song.
Right.
But you know,
I wonder if the song got changed. Like,
mm,
after Roxy arrived, they were like, actually, we're going to go with this other song. And so whatever she was thinking in terms of her reveal, you know, kind of moments, she had to make it work with the song versus an alternative.
it's possible. Who knows?
So that being said, Roxy Andrews assassinates. She wins, and then she has to reveal the lipstick of who's going home. And there's some tension because we have not resolved the she said drama between India and Alexis. And Alexis, earlier in the episode, talks about how she feels that she's on the outs. She's not, like, you know, in the jive with the other girls. Her analogy is like when you go to the lunchroom, I think, and like you're not allowed to sit with the other people. And I was like, ooh, girl, like you're bringing up some repressed stuff, I think. But, you know, I get it. Like, it's not intentional, Mean Girls, but yeah. So now I'm going to say this. When I watched the episode, I actually saw it live because I accidentally, and I'll explain it like later to you, Damon. I accidentally discovered a weird way to watch it while it's airing. And so I was like, okay, well, you know, and if it didn't work, it's like, well, I'm going to see it later on iTunes, no big deal. But I got to see it live, and I swear, when Roxy goes to grab the lipstick, I thought her voice cracked just ever so slightly, and I was like, she knows. She already knows who she's sending home. Which gave away to me who was getting sent home. Because they would be friends. So I did go back and I watched it like my iTunes. And I think I read into it.
Okay.
I don't think what I thought I saw was really there. She does go grab the lipstick and pull it out. It is in the sleeve, and then she reveals it. And there's really not much hesitance when she reveals that it is Alexis that goes home. So I was like, but honestly, when I watched it live, I was like, oh, she knows. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what's the point in covering up the lipstick if you're not supposed to know? But, you know. So I don't necessarily know that for certain she knew. So, yeah, Alexis is the one that has to sashay away. I'm not surprised.
Yeah. How do I put this? Essentially, during the episode, Miss Cracker kind of says, for her, the two in the bottom were Blair and Alexis, and that's what she's basing
Right.
her decision on
Right.
between the two of them.
Right.
And I was kind of like, I get that, but there's not really a need to announce that.
I thought it
Like,
was interesting strategy that she
oh,
just
true.
put it out there, because I mean she's kind of taking a page out of Shay's book where there's like really not much in terms of secrets. It's
Yeah,
like
true.
I'm not playing games. I'm just gonna like put it out there, and I think that was a little shocking to the other girls to find
Yeah.
out right off the bat, like
And she wasn't like,
out of the 5 of us, I consider 2 of you in the bottom, and that's where my vote will be coming from. That it was like,
Yeah. record scratch.
Okay.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, here you go.
Yeah.
And so seeing that and then seeing what happened kind of in Untucked, where like they showed that 2 hours prior. I don't know if you saw this or not.
I did.
see
I
Untucked?
got to
Okay.
see Untucked for this
Okay.
episode live, because then we'll get to it later. There's something special that gets revealed in Untucked that I was like, oh, isn't this interesting? But anyways.
Yeah, so like she kind of says like 2 hours prior, like she was asking about the girls about, because she was like unsure about her place, like how they feel about what happened, and you know all of the girls have pretty much kind of said like, we're not sure we can trust you in a way, and that goes a long way, especially for someone who's playing the game the way that Alexis is playing, you know, this whole whatever she's been doing. So she probably saw the writing on the wall,
Oh yeah.
maybe,
She,
you know.
she knew she was going to be signing a mirror before it was even announced.
Yeah.
I think she had one significant misstep in the course of the show, like in all the episodes, that sealed her fate, and that's the infamous inserting herself in the conversation and talking to Cracker and like basically being a bully and saying like, I could go around behind your back and talk about you and vote you out, but I'm not going to, because I'm not like that. So there's a theory, the philosophy, a psychology of you actually say what you're not going to do, but it is what you're going to do. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think that was her problem. The fact that she planted a seed unintentionally, like, I think that whole thing just worked totally against her. If she had not said a single word, I think she would have had more integrity in the view of the other girls. Like, the other contestants wouldn't have like been more cautious around her or whatever.
Yeah.
Or suspect. So yeah. And I'm not going to spoil it now, but in the first act of the episode 7, it's revealed all the lipsticks.
Okay.
So we can talk about that.
And they
later.
also revealed it in Untucked. They usually do it at the end of Untucked.
Oh, I guess maybe they did.
Yeah, they usually do.
So I thought that was interesting, like how that ends up playing out. So yeah, like Alexis is the one that has to go home. And do you know what I really liked? I really liked how Alexis is like, I'm gonna leave like a fucking lady, and then does a pageant walk, like down the runway, and I was like, yes, girl, like always gonna be like on the brand, like continuing to deliver. So yeah, I appreciated that.
Same.
You ready for our last segment?
Sure thing, hon.
That's right, children. So every episode we talk about things we call snaps and eye rolls, aka the hits and the misses, the highs and the lows. So Damon, who are you giving snaps to?
So I'm giving my snaps to Miss Shea Kulea for being very helpful. Like, I have been a fan of Shay this entire season. She has been one of the queens that has been like keeping it very real, keeping it very and keeping still like presenting well, like presenting herself well and doing really good. And in this episode, she kind of says something to the effect of like yeah, I'm helping him. And the reason I'm helping him is because like that's just what I want to do. Like I want every queen to kind of be like on their game essentially, and the fact that I know what I'm doing, I don't, she understands in competition, but like that's no need to be, you know, a good person. Like,
Right.
and that's what I loved about it. Like she
Right.
was very respectful and understanding. Like, Juju don't know how to sew, and Miss Cracker's having these issues with this fucking sewing machine. So let me help you a little bit. And those little things, she didn't make the fucking outfit for you, but she provided just some general assistance
Right.
to kind of make things a little better. Her and Miss Cracker and the sewing machine was like kind of one of our biggest moments because Jim was saying like those are things you would notice. You may, if you're used to doing like general fabric things, like here's a piece of fabric and you're making like a general like garment,
Right.
you wouldn't think to change certain things on the sewing machine, knowing that this is a different fabric. You're going to have to.
Right.
It's like with say like if you were sewing leather together,
Mm-hmm.
as an example. So I really did appreciate her being very helpful with the other girls, and I also going to give props to the fact that the girls that she helped pointed out that she helped.
Right. Which just elevates her all the more.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cracker from the get-go on the stage after she gets her judging critiques and compliments, she says, and I do want to pay respect that, Shay, as my sister, helped out because I was having, a bit of a struggle moment, but, she was able to get me, corrected, and Juju, it's like, and I was like, yep. Like that's the thing, which kind of relates into my snaps. So I said, I'm giving snaps to staying on target and delivering.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I mean. I think of the 4 that are remaining, 3 of them are staying true to this. So they are staying on target and delivering. Like they are not getting swayed or swapping lanes in the drag race. Like they are just keeping the eye on the prize, but not playing dirty.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is what happened to Alexis. Like I said, that one episode, it was
Mm-hmm.
like she was Wario or whatever and put an oil slick out there, like, and it's a little dirty. It's a little unnecessary, girl. Like you
Mm-hmm.
did not have to go there. You did not have to do that. And that really spoke because I think Cracker and Juju and Shay have all studied and paid close attention to the seasons of the show and the All Stars previous 4 seasons to know
Mm-hmm.
do not underestimate like the twists and the unexpected. So could they bring back the jury? Absolutely. Like, but put a twist on it somehow. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you and I discussed that. I think in All Stars 4, we talked about they could have brought the jury back, but they could have done something different with the jury.
Yeah.
And like out of the top 3, ranked who they wanted to be the top 2.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of picking an overall winner, you know what I mean? Like, or just different things, and maybe it was something
Yeah.
else we discussed. But my whole point is like, I think they were well intentioned and well aware. Like, don't do anything, and even Cracker, I think twice, definitely in this episode is called out. I think it's this episode where she doesn't say anything. And I think Alexa's is the one that says like, "Oh, Cracker, you're not going to say anything." She's like, "Oh no, I've learned to like."
Mm-hmm. Yep. Right in the beginning.
And I was like, "That's what I mean by staying on target." Is like,
Mm-hmm.
girl, it's still a competition, and I'm not going to do anything to put both my fucking feet in my mouth. I don't need to do that
Mm-hmm.
right now. Like, not especially when you're this close to the end.
Yeah.
So, and I think that the 3 of them primarily delivered on the challenge. Like they put their, their gusto into it. It was kind of mixed results. But they deserve to stay.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is, I think if it hadn't been for Alexis's goof up, Blair probably would have been the one to go home. And it would have been
Yeah.
a little more competitive for this coming episode 7. So I'm just calling it now. I think Blair's the next one to go unless something drastic happens. And I'm okay with that. Like if Blair ends up leaving as, number 4 spot,
Mm-hmm.
then I think it's highly competitive for the 3. It's
Yeah.
always kind of been Shay's to lose. As Willem kept saying recently, which cracked my ass up, it's the all Shay 5. Like instead of All Stars 5, it's all Shay 5. Like, and to be fair, I mean, she has been slaying nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
You
So
know,
I believe both her and Miss Cracker are the only ones that have won twice.
correct.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
And Blair, I don't think has won at all.
Correct.
Wait, maybe she did. No, she hasn't won at all. And then Juju won once.
Correct.
And again, like I'm just pointing out wins. We know that doesn't always mean anything in the grand scheme of things, but it's good to know.
But I wouldn't be surprised if in the next episode that becomes a thing. Like talking about the number of wins or whatever. So, eye rolls. Damon. Don't hurt yourself on this.
So Gary brought this up, so it probably won't hurt as much. Gary brought this up earlier. We have talked about this many a time on this show. I have particularly brought this up many, many times. Sewing is what I wrote because that's what Juju said when we're talking about it. I understand it's All Stars. I understand you're now you are a queen of certain wealth, for the most part. But that's still no excuse, honey. You may have to be making things. I get like Alexis in particular has mentioned specifically why she knows how to sew. Shay knows how to sew because that was pretty much what she was doing when in college and what have you. Like that was her thing. So like I get those. Like that makes sense to me. But Juju, honey, you're like old time, like you're old school queen. You should know. You should know how to put a garment together and sew something. Then again, we've seen your fashion choices, so maybe you are comfortable with stuff off the rack. So there's that. Someone mentioned it, and I can't remember who. No, it was during fashion photo review. Like we don't get we I'm not as mad with Juju not knowing how to sew as I have been in the past with other queens. And I think the reason I am is because Juju made it funny. Juju brought a funness and quirkiness to it, which is traditional, typical Juju. And that's why I'm not as like, bitch, you better know how to fucking sew. Like you should get on the show. You never know how to fucking sew. Like we've done this before. Like I'm not going on that like rant and tangent and like hurting myself. But to me, you still get eye rolls for it. Cause again, this is All Stars 5, season 12. So many years. At some point something like this is coming. Like like you should pick up some classes, know how to sew. It ain't that hard. It really isn't. Like I know I will not ever get on the show because I know I don't want to learn how to sew. I'm just gonna put it out there. I've had those moments and thoughts of like maybe trying to learn, but then I go, like I know when I do drag what my style is, and I've been lucky enough to find things that work for me. And I have a closet full of stuff that I've yet to wear. Some might be too small now, but I might have some stuff that I can wear that I've not worn before, and I'll be good enough, and it'll be fine. But I am not performing every weekend,
Right.
maybe a show or two a weekend. I'm not going on tour doing stuff. Like I am the occasional, not even occasional, the seldom
Right.
like performing queen. So learn to sew. Like this is a lesson to everyone else. Like if you get a call to be on RuPaul's Drag Race, if you do not know how to sew by that time, you should not even put in on audition tape. Like point blank period. You should not even put it put in an audition. Ooh, that is hard. Put in an audition tape.
Thank you.
Gary.
So I had to think about this.
Uh-oh.
Well, because I didn't really have an eye roll critique, but then I thought about it just now and it came back to me, so I have to say it. Because I've been on this rant for a while now, and you've read it what I just typed.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what I'm referring to?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so Roxy Andrews, Thick and Juicy, has two reveals. Like, she takes off the ostrich plume coat and reveals, she's got this like kind of sheer-ish, like big shirted kind of blouse thing or whatever. So you don't quite see everything that's underneath. And then she ends up taking that off. And you get like the bathing suit kind of deal and the Thick and Juicy, butt belt. And the butt belt is amazing. She made it. She crafted it by hand. She stoned the whole thing. Like, it's great. But I had a problem with the front of this, like, awkward fitting kind of... And it's not really a swimsuit. Like, because it reminded me of, like... And this is a horrible analogy. It reminds me of the Borat, like...
Yeah, string bikini or
right,
whatever.
like how it only has two strips that come down and then it goes in between your legs or whatever. Like, that's kind of what it reminded me of. But my problem is the two pieces of red fabric that come over the breasticles, in between is a nude illusion panel. I don't know why, because it didn't fit right. It kept wrinkling. Like, it kept shifting and moving. And I was like, girl, what the hell is the matter with you? Like, you are bronzed for the gods. You have a bod. Like, why are we doing this weird thing in the middle? Because all you had to do is put some toupee tape, or some Gorilla Tape or something over the
over
nips.
boobs.
Right, like to keep the fabric from, like, constantly shaking and shifting around and showing off, areolas on cable television. Like, it was the only thing that I have eye rolls for where I was kind of like, I don't understand this moment.
Okay. And I'm like, because I'm looking at I'm looking at the lip sync right now, and so like you look at her back,
and it's open,
and you can see her back. You can see her fucking back.
Yep.
Like,
I know. Why did you not contour paint your chest? And then just tape it down to the boobies.
Like, you can look at this outfit. And clearly you are going for, like, I want to be as naked as possible.
Yeah.
So, like, why?
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking down. So, I'm looking down at my breasticles and, like, this whole, like, thing. And I'm like, why put a panel?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why even bother? Because, like everything else is out.
Yeah.
Like, your ass is out, girl.
No, she better don't.
Like, your ass is fucking out. So, like, why are we suddenly being modest about our front
Yeah.
when, like, all, like, your back and butt are out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's really my only eye rolls.
I appreciate those eye rolls because I didn't even think about it until you said it. And
It-
then I'm like, oh, I looked at it. I'm looking now and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. It bothered me when I watched it live. I was like, wait, what? I was like, girl, what are you doing? Like, it just, there's something about it, you know.
Yeah.
This is how I feel about it.
We all have choices. Some of us make the wrong ones.
I mean, fact.
Yeah. That I didn't think it was necessary. But maybe we'll find out that she had like an outbreak of acne across her, you know, décolletage or some shit, you know, and like so she was trying to cover it. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm sure plenty of you out there have opinions about our opinions. So let us know what you think. You can go to our blog at cubsoutloud.com. You can shoot us an email at cubsoutloud@gmail.com, or you can give us a ring ding. Like, you can actually call us, leave a voicemail message. We'll play it in the show. You just have to call 361-265-8255. That's 361-COL Talk. Or on social media, you can follow us, and you can also comment on there. Just type in Cubs Out Loud pretty much anywhere. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. It's all there. If you want to join our conversation online, you can go to tinyurl.com/telegram-COLDR to join us talking about everything and anything, the current shows, and then pretty soon we may be going into a hiatus. Thank the goddess.
Hallelujah.
So we're just going to so the conversation will not be about the current airing season. It'll just be about the girls, like what they're doing, what's going on. If you want to be a supporter of Cubs Out Loud and Cubs Out Loud Drag Race, we would greatly appreciate it. There's a couple of things you can do. You can get some merchandise from Zazzle.com/CubsOutLoud. You can get some apparel or some other items. So like Damon is wearing a lovely Cubs Out Loud t-shirt. So that's our standard logo. The big brown bear head that's roaring. It says Cubs Out Loud. The drag race version of that for COLDR has a crown, has a lovely tiara, and it says drag race in pink. I know I don't have mine like at the ready.
Like,
either.
I want to like.
Yeah, okay.
That doesn't quite work. Well, you get the gist.
Yeah, and then there's other shirts like this one that we have. You know, consent is my foreplay in the drag pride colors. So, yeah. Or you can go to patreon.com/CubsOutLoud, and for as little as $1 each month, you can help be a supporter of Cubs Out Loud. And if you, those aren't your gigs, but you just want to throw some coin at us, you can go to paypal.me/CubsOutLoud, and you can just give us a one-time tip. We would greatly appreciate it.
Yes.
If you want to promote us online or give us some kudos, you can on iTunes give us a 5-star rating and comment, and pretty much subscribe anywhere that you get your podcast. So it could be Google Play, Spotify, you know, basically any RSS feed that, you know, works off of audio podcast. You can find us there. Mr. Damon, if they want to get in touch with you, where would they find you?
If you wish to get in touch with me, you can find me as Theater Cup 79 on most bear-related sites or and Facebook, or you can find me as Pup_Umbra on Twitter. My Twitter is NSFW. So just putting it out there. You might get the occasional drag race thing. You might get some political support, but there's gonna be a lot of dick like in your face. Just.
And if you're a patron, you almost,
Yeah.
by accident, saw the moment that David nearly got us like in trouble for YouTube.
Ooh, glad I caught that.
You did. You were like, "Oh wait, this is being recorded, right?" And I was like, "Yes, it is. Do not put that in front of the camera. That image will get us flagged into trouble for certain." Yes, but if you follow Damon, then you'll be able to see what that tweet was about.
Oh yes, you can see that.
Yeah, yeah. If you would like to find me online, you can pretty much go anywhere in social media spheres and type in GareBear73. That's GARBEAR73. My Twitter for drag specifically is GareBear73 Drag. If you're interested in the naughty stuff, you can put 3 X's after GareBear73 on there as well. And with that, that's it, kids. We're gonna wrap it up. We got 2 more episodes in the season. Episode 7 is coming up. It's a comedy schmackdown. So it's basically a comedy sketch show, which will be very interesting because it'll be just the 4 of them, and then one queen presumably is going to get eliminated. Then we'll have a top 3, and it's the finale, and then it's over. So make sure that you are doing all that you can. If you have the option to do so, get out there, register now for the primary election coming up in November. Go to vote.org, I believe, to register. You can also, if your state has the option, you can do mail-in ballot. It's easier. I highly suggest it. It's available in my state, and I did it for the primary. It was super fucking convenient. Don't have to wait in line and all that jazz. So think about it, because we are what, children? We are Americans.
Like you too. I'm American, American, American. I am American, American. Red, white, and blue. I am American, American, American. I am American, American. Just like you too.
Bye.
Bye, y'all. So what in the world did you post just now where you were like, no context?
I just posted the tweet.
The twit.
The tweet.
Oh, when you put it into Drag Race.
Uh-huh.
Girl.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think, unless they're a patron, they may not get to know what I'm talking about, but that's kind of the point.